have anything better to do?
I was in the weight room.
It's not better than this.
Welcome to tonight's varsity JV Ranger swim meet against the White Bear Bears. This is the boys' first home meet of the season, and so we are listening right now to the announcer talk about the fact that it is the boys' 200-yard medley relay varsity that will be our first event up tonight.
In lane 6 for the Rangers, Robert Gore, Deacon Andre, Eric Gregoire, and Gus Johnson.
All right, so as the boys enter the water here, you're going to see that the backstrokers enter the water first, and so we're up. We don't have a JV meet or a JV relay team this meet. Here we go. So as we were hearing the announcer, and it's a little hard to hear in the swimming pool area, but you're going to see that the backstroker's in the water right now, and the Bears are swimming in lanes 2 and 3, and the Rangers in 4, 5, and 6. And so in the water right now, we have Braden in lane 2, Kelvin in lane 3, Logan in lane 4, Joe in lane 5, and Robert in lane 6. And so the backstroke, you want to take it out really pretty quick and get it going and see if these exchanges here are good. Okay, our next here is the breaststroke, and you can see here we've got in lane 4, we've got Max True just out ahead of the rest of everybody, just killing it there. And so those turns are important in the breaststroke as you go through, and you're going to see as we are going through here that we have up next is the butterflyer. And butterflies, a lot of times they spend a little bit of time under the water first, and then they're up and they want to get going, especially in the relay event. And so we've got, for the Bears in lane 3, we've got Logan, or in lane 2, Logan, in lane 3, Joe, Rangers, lane 4, Riley, lane 5, Sam, and lane 6, Eric. And our last one here, you can see that the Forest Lake relay team is really pretty fast here in that middle lane, and so the other ones are coming up behind, but that fast one right there leading us into the win here for the relay is Brady Jaros swimming in. But then in lane 2 for the Bears, we have Alex, and in lane 3 we have Alan. And then for Forest Lake, lane 4 coming into the end here, and Brady with the win there. Lane 4, lane 5 we've got Riley, and lane 6 we've got Gus. So lane 4 is the winner with a 1:50.67. And then we've got lane 3 for the Bears in second place with a 2:76. Lane 5 for the Rangers, third place, 2:02.42. And then we've got some final swims coming on in here. Lane 2, fourth place for the Bears, 2:22.93. And lane 6, fifth place for the Rangers, 2:29.79. It's always interesting with that relay right out in the beginning. You see a little bit of all the strokes. Remember, you start with backstroke, then breaststroke, then butterfly, and then freestyle. And so it's always just it's that medley relay that just shows everybody's strokes and talents right there in the beginning. And some really good swims from both White Bear and Forest Lake as we start this. Most of these guys, it's only their second meet tonight. So last week was their first meet of the season, which is pretty different. They'd be almost close to halfway done with a season by now if they had started at a typical time. But they started after the new year.
Is boys varsity 200-yard freestyle. In lane 1 for the Bears, Ethan Vanderveer. In lane 2 for the Bears, Braden Cole. And in lane 3, Calvin Foreman. For the Rangers, in lane 4, Levi Waski. Lane 5, Brady Thompson. And lane 6, Bo Brady.
So our next event here that they're getting ready for is the varsity 200-yard freestyle. In lane 1 for the Bears, we have Ethan. In lane 2 for the Bears, we have Braden. In lane 3 for the Bears, we have Kelvin. And then in lane 4 for the Rangers, we have Levi. And in lane 5, Brady. And in lane 6, Bo. So the 200 freestyle is this, you're swimming the 50, like 450s freestyle. You got to think about not taking it out too fast, but also it is considered a sprint, so you want to be able to take it out pretty quickly. We've got Levi in the middle there setting kind of that pace, and the rest of the boys are going to kind of come up on the pace. It's interesting to watch swim meets this year when they've got the rules of the fact that the Bears have to be in lanes 1, 2, and 3, and then the Rangers have to be in 4, 5, and 6. So it's kind of like that pyramid shape. Typically, you'd have a little bit more of back and forth going on. So there's, Levi making that turn and doing well, staying out ahead of everybody. But we've got some pretty good competition in that second, third, and fourth place, and even fifth place coming up in lane 1 here. So everybody's kind of tight together, kind of matched really well in this 200 freestyle. This is where you get a little tired in the 200 freestyle, because that 150 spot is where it's a little bit hard. You got to keep kicking your legs. If you're on the deck, you can see Coach Mancini really kicking, moving his hands around and saying kick, 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 because that's what you want to do. You want to get those legs kicking. Yeah, Levi just, it's out front there, but that second place is still kind of, really in. Bo has kind of taken over with that second place, but don't count out Kelvin from the Bears. He's right there with him. All right, it looks like Bo actually touched him out there. So we've got Levi in first, but we've got some boys still coming on in here home. So our first place is lane 4. Levi with a time of 2:02.45. Lane 2, Bo with a time of 2:08.78. Lane 3 is in third place, Kelvin from the Bears, 2:09.45. And then we've got fourth place is lane 5, Brady from the Rangers, 2:13.86. Lane fifth place is lane 1, Ethan from the Bears with a 2:17.40. And then sixth place is lane 2, Braden from the Bears with a 2:26.70. Our next event will be the Varsity 200-yard individual medley.
And for the Rangers, lane 4, Braden Jarris, lane 5, Riley Jankowski, and lane 6, Joel Galsworth.
All right, this is the 200 individual medley varsity. So this one's a little bit different than the medley. It starts out with the fly, and then you'll see that they do fly, back, breast, and free. And so it's all of the strokes, and you start with the fly, and it's 50 of each. So you got to be really strong. You got to have a really good kick in this event. And so in the 200-yard individual medley, in lane 1, we've got Jacob from the Bears, lane 2, Joe from the Bears, and in lane 3, Aiden from the Bears. And then for the varsity Rangers, we've got Brady in lane 4, Riley in lane 5, and Joe in lane 6. And if you remember, Brady was up in that relay, so he hasn't had a lot of time to get a lot of rest, but he's out front right now. So they start with the butterfly, then they do a 50 back. You got to make sure they do the correct flip turns and everything. That's what the officials are on the deck watching for at the moment. You'll see kids are stronger in different parts of this. Sometimes you can't really tell sometimes with this event if they're going to be the winner at times, because are they a butterfly or are they a breaststroke, or where are we at? And so you can see here that Brady is out in front for the Rangers, but then once again, those second, third, fourth, and even fifth spots are up for grabs, and all of that is points. So you want to make sure you're getting every place that you possibly can. So we got Brady that is in first place in lane 4 right now. coming into the freestyle, which is the last 50, and then Aiden from White Bear touching second and coming in. It's always hard sometimes on this 50. You see that you can sometimes see how they get pretty tired. But then some of them can kick it into gear. It's important. The endurance is important in this particular one. Looks like we've got a little bit of a swim off for third place. We'll see who can take that one. Brady touches first for the Rangers. Aiden's going to take a pretty easy second here. And then we'll see. It's looking like Joe is going to be coming in third for the Rangers, with Riley coming in fourth for the Rangers. And Joe from the Bears not too far behind in fifth place. So we've got lane 4, Brady for the Rangers with a time of 2:15.75. And second place is lane 3, Aiden for the Bears with a time of 2:25.13. Third place is lane 6, Joe for the Rangers with a 2:31.49. Fourth place is lane 5, Riley with a time for the Rangers for a 2:35.89. Fifth place is lane 2, Joe from the Bears, 2:38.37. And sixth place is lane 1, Jacob from the Bears, 2:50.97. So now we've got a JV heat of the 50 freestyle. These are probably some of our pretty young swimmers in this JV event of the 50. Kind of fun to watch. A lot of them, it might be their first race. In lane 1 for the Bears, we've got Moman. In lane 2 for the Bears, Peter. In lane 3 for the Bears, Daniel. And then in lane 4 for the Rangers, we've got Robert. In lane 5 for the Rangers, Thatcher. And in lane 6, Jameson. A 50-yard freestyle is down and back freestyle. It's a fast race, so it's one you got to watch sometimes and can be touched out pretty good. It's a very nice time coming in at first place, lane 4, Robert with a 29.99. Then second place, lane 5, Thatcher with a 31.55. Third place, lane 3 from the Bears, we've got Daniel with a time of 37.04. Fourth place, that's a touch out really there. They were pretty close. Lane 1 from the Bears, Moman with a time of 40.16. Lane 6 is in fifth place with a time of 40.95, Jamie. And then lane 2 is sixth place with 52.44. And now is the varsity 50-yard freestyle. This first half of the meet has gone really quickly. You can see right now that the Ranger score is 31, White Bear 15. All right, this you'll see a pretty fast race here, but in lane 1 for the Bears, Logan. Lane 2 for the Bears, Kelvin. Lane 3 for the Bears, Allen. Lane 4 for the Rangers, Max. Lane 5 for the Rangers, Logan. And in lane 6, Devin for the Rangers. And so you'll see they're all really pretty close together. Max is out in the front for the Rangers, but we will see who comes in and touches out in second, third, and fourth and fifth place. Nice times here. So that we've got Max with a first place of a time of 23.43. For the Bears, second place, we've got Allen with a time of 25.50. And then in third place for the Rangers, we've got Logan with a time of 26.35. Fourth place for the Bears, Kelvin, we've got 26.73. And then for the fifth place for the Rangers, Devin with a time of 27.34. And then in sixth place for the Bears, we've got a time for Logan, we've got a time of 31.01. So that was a really quick beginning part of the meet. Without JV in a lot of those events, the time goes really by pretty fast, but not a lot of rest for the guys here. So if you don't know, Forest Lake does not have diving during the meet here. Diving was last night at White Bear. And so we have some scores here for diving last night. It looks like the Rangers here took first place. Deacon took first place with a time or a score, sorry, not a time, of 156.60. And then that's Deacon from Forest Lake. We've got Tony from White Bear Lake that took second with a score of 131.75. And then we have Jameson from Forest Lake that took third place with a 102.80. So Rangers last night taking first and third, and White Bear taking second in diving. So the boys here will have a 15-minute break, 10 minutes in the water, 5 minutes, just kind of a break so that they give each other kind of a rest. So we'll be back in a little bit. Boys, parents of the Forest Lake Rangers, remember that tomorrow is picture day for the boys. So Coach Mancini has asked that you remember to bring your warm-up jackets and be ready for picture day tomorrow, so you don't forget. And so we'll be back here in a little bit. Maybe go get a popcorn or, take a bathroom break or something, because the second half of the meet will probably be pretty quick as well. All right, we're back here for the second half of the meet, which is a little bit longer. So our next event here you'll see is the 100 Butterfly Varsity. This is 4 lengths of the pool butterfly. You want to try to get a little bit of underwater on the start, and then get up and get going. And so the 100-yard butterfly here, we've got in lane 1 for the Bears, Alex. Lane 2, Alan for the Bears. Lane 3, Joe for the Bears. And then in lane 4 for the Rangers, Brady. Lane 5, Sam for the Rangers. And in lane 6, we've got Brady. So we've got a Brady Jarrows in lane 3 and a Brady Thompson in lane 6. So you can see Brady Jarrows is out pretty quick here in the lead again. But once again, you know, we've got some really good competition in the 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. It shows the depth of your team when you can, you know, have that going on, and some really good close races here. Brady's going to easily take first here. So Brady Jarrows coming in first with a time of 59.94. But then second and third place and fourth place and fifth place is all going to be touch out here. Really, really close. So lane 3 took second. Lane 3, Joe from the Bears with a 1:10.01. Lane 5 took third place for the Rangers with a 1:10.57, and lane 5 is Sam for the Rangers. Fourth place was lane 2 for the Bears, Allen, with a time of 1:11.17. Fifth place was lane 6 for the Rangers, Brady Thompson, with a time of 1:16.19. And then in sixth place for the Bears, Alex, with a time of 1:24.61. Currently the score is the Rangers 50, the White Bear Bears 25. So you'll see, you know, the butterfly is one of those harder strokes that it's, you know, especially getting younger kids to try it out in the beginning is pretty difficult, getting that dolphin kick and stuff. But then once kids get it, they really seem to enjoy it, and it kind of becomes their career stroke on the swim team. So there's a little conferencing going on between the officials. Sometimes there's a disqualification. Sometimes there's a backup time needed because of the touch out was pretty close. That second and third place was pretty close. So they're conferring on that.
Next up, junior varsity 100-yard.
So we will have a junior varsity 100 freestyle here, which is 4 lengths of the pool.
In lane 2, Daniel Allen. In lane 3, Ryan Edmond. Oh, that would let's do this over. Lane 2 for the Bears, Finian McVeigh. Lane 3 for the Bears, Daniel Allen. For the Rangers in lane 4, Ryan Edmond. In lane 5, Gus Johnson, and in lane 6, Eric Gregoire.
So once again, this is the 100-yard freestyle junior varsity. Lane 2 for the Bears is Finian. Lane 3 for the Bears is Daniel. And then for the Rangers in lane 4 is Ryan. In lane 5 we have Gus for the Rangers. And in lane 6, Eric for the Rangers. 4 lengths of the pool, freestyle swimming. Your kick, your stroke, all important, stretching that stroke out. But it is a sprint, so you got to get yourself going. Good flip turns. You know, nice tight streamline. All of that stuff works to really get you ahead and a good start in the 100 freestyle. Looks like Ryan Eddy is out in first place here, but Gus from the Rangers is close behind. Then we've got, you know, some competition going on here between lane 2 and 3 from the Bears as well. They're sticking pretty close together, but they're really close. And then lane 6, Eric, looks like he's going to be coming in third place as well. So Ryan just took the first place of the JV and with a 1:02.18 with a good time there. Gus taking second for the Rangers with a 1:05.20. Lane 6, Eric for the Rangers, third place with a 1:14.25. Lane 3 for the Bears, Ryan took 4th place with a time of 1:23.54, and Lane 2 took 5th place, Finian for the Bears with a time of 1:23.93. Our next up is the 100-yard freestyle varsity. Once again, this one's a pretty fast out sprint. You want to get going, and it can be anybody's race as you're going here. So we've got, for the Bears in lane 1, Logan. In lane 2 for the Bears, Ethan. And in lane 3 for the Bears, Alex. And then for the Rangers in lane 4, we have Brody. In lane 5, we have Devin. And in lane 6, we have Bo. Those Rangers are really sticking pretty close together there in lanes 4, 5, and 6. Sometimes when you train together too, you end up swimming pretty close together in a race, but you also got to compete, so that's one thing to do. So Brody is in first place in lane 4 there, but then we've got a Bear in lane 2 coming up on our other guys here in lanes 5 and 6, but it looks like Bo might easily take second as well. So Brody comes in first for the Rangers with a time of 56:50. Then we have lane 6, Bo, with a time of 58:22 for the Rangers. And then third place for the Rangers, 1:31. And then we've got fourth place for the Bears, lane 2, Ethan, with a time of 1:02:04. Lane 3 came in fifth for the Bears with a time, Alex with a time of 1:11:02. And then 6 missed that time because sometime, oh, there we go, 1:10:94. Maybe, I don't know if that's right. Sometimes the pad kind of gets mixed up a little bit, and if they touch it and then they touch it again and maybe the button got pushed, something like that, it can screw up the clock a little bit. So, but they get the time up at the table. They always have a backup time. So the time is correct. So as we're waiting here right now, is what we're doing is we're getting set up on the pool deck here for the 500 freestyle. We don't have a JV heat of this. It's only the varsity heat of the 500 freestyle. All right, the 500 freestyle in lane 1 for the Bears, we've got Kelvin. In lane 2 for the Bears, we have Ben. Lane 3 is open. There's nobody swimming for the Bears in lane 3. We've got Max for the Rangers in lane 4, Joe for the Rangers in lane 5, and Riley Saito in the lane 6 for the Rangers. We got lots of duplicate names on these teams, so I'll practice last names for next time, so we can maybe have some of those. But you see with the 500, it is 20 lengths of the pool. It's an interesting race. Thinking about pacing yourself. You get a kid at the end who gets to be your counter, so someone is counting the lengths of the pool for you. Sometimes they're able to kind of shake the board a little bit, give you some signals a little bit of how to kick you into gear, but you really do have to kind of know your surroundings, but also swim your own race in this kind of event. Max is kind of easily taking it out here in first. We'll see if he can keep that up. He's a very strong swimmer for the Rangers, so thinking about, keeping that pace for himself. Sometimes you have to swim your own race in the 500, which can be kind of hard, even if, you got to think about you're the only one in that pool sometimes. But like in the rest of the things, we've got some good competition. But the 500 is always kind of interesting. Somebody can take it out too fast, and then someone comes from behind, and you're like, whoa, where'd they come from? You'll notice both coaches on the deck right now telling their kids to kick. 500 swimmers a lot of times can fall behind with that and be like, you know what, I can be a little bit lazy and I don't need to kick. So but when you're doing that, you're dragging your legs and you're just dragging that weight of your body with you. So you want to try a little bit harder to keep your legs kicking if you can. It can be a very tiring race, though. We've got Max in first still, sticking with it there. With Joe for the Rangers in second. Kind of fun tonight to see both teams have small enough teams that they could be on the deck for the Forest Lake Rangers and the White Bear Bears. Coaching the girls season, we had to not have as many swimmers out on the deck because we had too many people for the rules, and so it's nice to see these guys being able to cheer each other on tonight. Everything's important in the 500, and endurance is one of those things that's important. And I can imagine that, it's probably an interesting season coming in after having been off and not really having a pool to swim in until January 4th, with pools being closed for a while there. And so trying to keep yourself active as best as you could. These guys were probably, doing workouts and doing things like that, but not being in a pool has probably, their endurance is something that they'll work on this whole season as they go through the season. And boys swim meets and are just, kind of like the fall with the girls team. It's all individual dual meets, no invites on Saturdays, which is something, that's kind of a hard drawback with all the new rules and things. But it is just important that they're able to swim and compete and swim against each other and have these good opportunities to be in the pool. So you see there, the official is shaking a bell. That means that Max is on his last lap. So whoever the swimmer that is out in the front gets either a bell or a buzzer or something like that the official carries with them, and they kind of signal that there is that last lap. So Max is easily going to win this event here. But we've got some good competition for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place. So, it's once again, it's anybody's race in some of those areas, and that's kind of fun to watch. You got to push through. So Max easily winning that 500 right now in first place with a 5:27.99. We've got second place coming in there from Forest Lake. Joe with a time of 5:44.87. Good times for those guys. They make it look easy, but they're probably a little bit tired. That's okay. So these guys here are pushing themselves home. Third place coming in there in lane 1 for the Bears with a time of 6:05.36. And then it's who's going to end up in the 4th and 5th spot here. Lane 6 ended up in 4th place, Riley Saito from the Rangers with a time of 6:37.54. And then Ben from the Bears is on his last lap here, finishing it out strong. This is what having a crowd is, something that you miss, is having that crowd to kind of be that cheering squad, because it's not always the most fun to be the last one in the pool, but it does happen in races and things like that. But this, he is really finishing strong here, so he's persevering and pushing through that, which is a skill that any 500er needs. So nice job, Ben, with a time of 5th place with a time of 7:29.36.
Yard Freestyle swimming for the Bears in lane 2, Alex Shaver. In lane, Jacob Pierce, Logan Morrison, and Ethan Vanderveer. In lane 3 for the Bears, Aiden Cleary, Calvin Weir, Calvin Foreman, and Alan Parada Romero. Swimming for the Rangers in lane 4, Levi Waspy, Brody McGovern, Logan Rachel, and Brady Jarris. Swimming in lane 5 for the Rangers, Bo Brady, Ryan Eddy, Brady Thompson, and Devin Johnson. And in lane 6 for the Rangers, Gus Johnson, Thatcher Robertson, Deacon Andre, and Jamison Lismore.
All right, so as you were hearing their names of boys swimming in the varsity 200-yard freestyle relay, where 4 boys in each relay each swim 50 yards. All right, so our first swimmers in the water here, we've got from the Bears, Alex in lane 2, and from the Bears in lane 3, Aiden. And then for the Rangers in lane 4, Levi, lane 5, Bo, and lane 6, Gus. So once again, it is the 200-yard freestyle relay. Each swimmer swims 2 lengths of the pool, so a 50-yard freestyle. These can be really fast exchanges. You got to be careful with those exchanges. So in swimming, if you jump the start, if you go before the swimmer touches the wall, you disqualify your relay team. So you want to be really careful, but you also don't want to be too slow, because you can see that there are kind of neck-and-neck races going on here. So we've got some decent relay exchanges there going on. We've got our third swimmer in the water for the Bears, Logan. For the Bears, Kelvin. Rangers, we've got Logan in the water in lane 4, Brady Thompson lane 5, and then Deacon in lane 6. It's pretty interesting to note that with the Rangers, you've got both divers swimming tonight as well. Multi-sport athletes when you think about it. And then we've got bringing it home here, we've got Brady Jaros in lane 4 for the Rangers, and then Allen for the Bears. All right, so the first place was the Rangers relay team in lane 4 with a 1:41.44. Second place was the Bears relay team in lane 3 with a time of 1:45.15. Third place was the Ranger relay team in lane 5 with a time of 1:52.07. Fourth place was the Bears relay team in lane 2 with a time of 2:02.67. And then the Rangers finished out lane 6 with 5th place with a 2:19.52. So our next event is the junior varsity 100-yard backstroke. We have 2 swimmers in this event, both from the Rangers. So swimming in lane 4 is Robert, and in lane 5 we have Eric. 100-yard backstroke, 4 lengths of the pool, backstroke. You'll see the start is a little bit different if you haven't watched a swim meet in the past. Welcome to those of you that are being able to tune in from all over the place. It's kind of fun. So the backstroke start there, they start in the water with that back arch there. A little bit different. You'll notice that coming into the wall here, once they start to see the flags, they start to count their strokes as they go into the wall. because you can only take that one stroke into the wall. If you take any more freestyle strokes into the wall, you get disqualified. So then you push off, you flip and you push off onto your back. So we've got Robert out in first and Eric in second there. Your kick, keeping your hips up, making sure that your hand placement as it enters the water, so you're catching the water really good, is all something to really think about and work on with the backstroke. Both boys here are doing a really nice job. It's hard sometimes when there's not a lot of you in the water to get pumped up for it, but then you got to think about some in your own race, and they're doing a really nice job here as they're coming into the wall. So we got Robert with a time of 1:22.09. And Eric there with a time of 1:28.81.
Next up, Varsity 100-yard backstroke. For the Bears, swimming in lane 1, Ben Mullen. In lane 2, Braden Cole. Lane 3, Alan Ware. In lane 4 for the Rangers, Riley Jankowski. Lane 5, Levi Wassky. And lane 6, Sam Trope.
So our next event here is the Varsity 100-yard backstroke. This meet is actually really flying along here. It's less than an hour right now. So we've got the 100 varsity backstrokers in the water. So in lane 1 for the Bears, we have Ben. In lane 2, Braden for the Bears. And in lane 3, Calvin for the Bears. And then in lane 4 for the Rangers, Riley Jankowski. Lane 5, Levi. And then in lane 6, Sam. We've got a pretty good race here. They're all really close together at the beginning here. So kind of watching that as they come into the wall, reaching for those. And those flip turns are really going to make a difference here and matter. Backstrokers try to stay underwater and do a dolphin kick off the flip turns to kind of get themselves up and out of the water with that same streamlined position that a freestyler uses with their arms, but on their back. So we've got some pretty tight group here. Riley is pretty solidly going to take first here for the Rangers. But then Levi for the Rangers and Kelvin for the Bears, pretty close. And then we've also got, don't want to forget Sam out on the end there, or also Braden. Was a really close race for all of them there. So Riley comes in first in lane 4 with a time of 1:04.97. Second place was Levi for the Rangers with a time of 1:06.40. Third place for the Bears, Kelvin with a time of Braden with a time of 1:09.90. Then fourth place for the Rangers, Sam with a time of 1:10.05. Fifth place for the Bears, Braden with a time of 1:13.88. And then sixth place for the Bears, Ben with a time of 1:36 flat. All really close times there. You look at 1:09, 1:10, 1:13, 1:06. That's all really close together. So really nice swim to watch there. Next up will be the junior varsity 100-yard breaststroke. We have 3 events left, which this might be the fastest swim meet I've ever been to. It's always a little different because we do have diving at a different pool. But, hopefully you're able to check out the diving meets as well, being streamed either the Rangers are streaming things on their Facebook page, but then LATV is streaming on their YouTube channel for these events here at home. We've been lucky to have those abilities and capabilities, and it's kind of cool that there's probably grandparents and family members from all over watching tonight. So welcome to Forest Lake Schools. Remember, parents, as we're waiting here for Not exactly sure why, but as we're waiting here, that there is a picture day tomorrow for the Rangers, so make sure that you are bringing in your warm-up jackets, I believe that they're asking for, so that they can take pictures. Also, it's pretty cool if you are a Ranger family member to see these fans in the stands pictures along the walls here.
Swimming for the Rangers in lane 4, Thatcher Robertson. And in lane 5, Deacon Andre.
So once again, here we have the JV heat of the 100-yard breaststroke. So 4 links of the pool breaststroke. So we've got 2 swimmers once again for the Rangers swimming. In lane 4, we have Thatcher, and in lane 5, we have Deacon, breaststroke. Some people that maybe have taken swimming lessons know this as like there's a frog kick, but there's a lot more that goes into it as you compete in a race. Your pull, your kick, you got to get your timing right, and you can see Thatcher how he's pushing forward in the water there, and trying to really push himself, towards the wall. And a 2-hand touch is important in a breaststroke turn. You have to touch with both hands. If you don't, you end up disqualified. Both boys doing a nice job here once again with their teammates cheering them on. It's always a little tricky, like I was saying earlier with the backstroke, when there's only a couple of you in the pool to feel that like pumped up energy. But these guys are holding their own here and showing what they've got. So Thatcher coming in here with a nice time. Thatcher's taking first in the JV heat with a 1:28.87. Deacon not far behind. Pushing through here. Breaststroke can get kind of tiring towards the end. You got to really kind of lengthen your stroke out. So Deacon ending there in second place with a 1:44.54. So our next event will be the varsity heat of the 100-yard breaststroke.
The Bears in lane 1, Ian McVeigh. Lane 2, Jacob Pierce. And lane 3, Aiden Cleary. Swimming for the Rangers in lane 4, Ryan Eddy. Lane 5, Brody McGovern. And lane 6, Riley Seager.
So in the water for the varsity, in lane 1 for the Bears, we have Finian. Lane 2 for the Bears, we have Jacob. Lane 3, we have Aiden for the Bears. And then for the Rangers, in lane 4, we have Ryan. Lane 5, Brody for the Rangers. And then in lane 6, Riley Sido. 100% apologize if I am screwing up your child's name. Trying my best here. But I hopefully doing okay. We have for the Bears in lane 3, we've got Aiden out in the front, setting the pace with a really strong breaststroke here. He's probably going to easily take first here with that real strong breaststroke pull and push. But Ryan is not far behind, and neither is Brody. And then that 4th, 5th, and 6th place is all up for grabs at the moment as these guys push home. But in first place, we do have Aiden for the Bears with a time of 1:11.27. In second place, we have Ryan for the Rangers with a 1:16.22. In third place for the Rangers, we have Brody with a time of 1:20.89. Fourth place for the Rangers, Riley with a time of 1:24.50. Fifth place for the Bears, Jacob with a time of 1:29:30, and then in 6th place for the Bears, Finian with a time of 1:31:87. And we are actually up to our last event of the night. These guys and I have not had much rest. And so 400-yard freestyle relay varsity.
Braden Kolb and Calvin Foreman. And for the Rangers, swimming in lane 4, Bo Brigham, Max True, Levi Waski, and Joe Galsworthy. In lane 5, Brady Thompson, Sam Trump, Riley Jankowski, and Riley Cito. In lane 6 for the Rangers, Gus Johnson, Robert Boer, Eric Gregoire, and Thatcher Robertson.
So we have the varsity 400-yard freestyle relay here where each boy will swim 4 lengths of the pool, so each boy swims a 100 freestyle. Swimming for the Bears in lane 2, first swimmer is Jacob. In lane 3, we have Joe. Swimming for the Rangers in lane 4, we have Bo. Lane 5, Brady Thompson. And in lane 6, Gus. This is always it's kind of an endurance event, but it's hard because 100s and 200s in swimming are still considered sprints. And so you've got to take it out, and you play around with it a little bit as a coach to see if you put your fastest swimmer first, you last, those kinds of things, and kind of mix it up to work through who can do what. But this is a pretty good matchup between the Rangers and the Bears here. So like I was saying earlier, those exchanges are important. So our second swimmer, Max, in the water for the Rangers. And the second swimmer for the Bears in the water is Ethan. And then we've got lane 5 for the Rangers, Sam. Lane 6 for the Rangers, Robert. Lane 2 for the Bears, Daniel. Looks like it might be a good fight for second or third place here, which is important in the relays point totals. The Rangers' third swimmer coming in here for lane 4 is going to be Levi. Levi's in the water now. Max really pulled them ahead quite a bit there. Ooh, those were they're really close. Real close together, second and third place here. So for the Bears, the third swimmer in the water is Braden. In the Rangers, we have Riley Jankowski. And then now in lane 6 for the Rangers, we have Eric in the water. And the Bears in lane 2 are going to exchange here, and Finian will take off. We've got Levi coming in here. First place for the Rangers right now. And Joe is in the water for the Rangers, the last swimmer for that relay team. But then, like I said, we've got a pretty good place or race here going on for second and third between the Bears and the Rangers in lane 3 and in lane 5. So in lane 5 for the Rangers, the last swimmer is in the water, Riley Cito. And then for the Bears, in lane 3, their final swimmer is in the water, Kelvin. And they're pretty close together. Anybody's race for second or third place right now. The Rangers in lane 6. Their last swimmer is going to touch the water here. Thatcher is in the water. Rangers winning there with a pretty decisive win with a time of 3:50.91 with Joe coming in to touch that out. But second and third place here, looks like the Bears are going to touch out the Rangers just by a hair here. Second place goes to the Bears in lane 3. Kelvin finished there with their relay team with a time of 4:08.04. And then the Rangers, Riley finished there with their relay team with a time of 4:10.68 for third place. So we're just watching here for fourth and fifth place to come in. But, all the races matter. So watching till the end is important. The score currently is Rangers 95 and the White Bear Bears 68. So the Rangers are going to come in fourth place there. Thatcher finishing that relay with a time of 4:46.53. And then the Bears here are going to take fifth place. You can hear the boys cheering for each other here, cheering on their relay team, and the Rangers cheering right with them. Swimming's always got some really good sportsmanship, which is something as a coach that you really want to see. So we have Ben finishing that relay team for the Bears with a time of 5:22.62 to take fifth place. Honestly, that is probably one of the fastest swim meets that I have ever been at. About an hour, even with a break in the middle. So we'll wait out the final score here, see what we get. But thank you all for tuning in tonight and watching the White Bear Bears and Rangers, Forest Lake Rangers, in their, more than likely, at both these teams, their second meet of the year. You'll see here that the boys, as they hang around, a lot of times there's some type of final cheer. With the new rules and guidelines this year, they can't shake hands or fist bump or do anything like that. They got to stay on opposite sides of the pool. So that's always kind of interesting.
Tonight's meeting is White Bear Lake with 80 points and Forest Lake with 95 points.
So the final score tonight, if you didn't just hear the announcer saying, but the Rangers win the meet with a score of 95 to the White Bear Bears score of 80. So nice competition tonight. And here's one last cheer from the guys. Some healthy competition there.
Joey's on every